Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. I've been meaning to get around to this video, but I've struggled to find the right words because I have to admit my mind is very conflicted. The latest global event, Golden Gun, ended, I think it was about a week or so ago now, and since then I have lost all momentum that I had to play the game. In fact, I think I've only been on to make the most recent vendor reset video, I think that was yesterday here on the channel, whereas before Golden Gun came out, I was actually probably playing, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours a day since TU12 went live. I was just enjoying getting used to getting all the new stuff in the game, and just basically it's what you get at the start of a new season. You have kind of that honeymoon period. Also, with that said, we also have the optimization station, which I've been interacting with a lot. So what's happened? Well, Golden Gun has become kind of an oxymoron. I think that's probably the right word to use. I'm not totally sure. It was quite possibly one of the best global events that we've had, and yet I feel like it's ruined my experience, at least in the short term. It's really quite a weird position to be in. So let's talk about where my head is at, and I assume others are probably at as well. Remember to drop a like down below and subscribe to keep up to date with all of my videos, and let's get into it. Now, a couple of weeks ago I made a video, I think it was Christmas Eve actually, and it was titled "The Golden Gun event is amazing, best global event in 6 years?" Now, I made this video because up until this global event, all others that we've had in the Division 2, like Guardians, Reanimated and the others, they've not really been, in my opinion, any good at all. The mechanics were not fun for the most part, and the payoff when actually nailing those mechanics was not that impressive either. I think the only other global event I didn't mind playing was Polarity Switch, but as I said, I just didn't mind playing that global event because you could become quite powerful with the buffs when they were up, and the mechanics were fairly easy to engage with. I didn't overly enjoy it, it was just kind of there, and it was okay, and that was about it. Guardians was by far my least favourite for many reasons that I'm sure you guys could probably guess. There was a painfully bad buff, immune shotgunners pushing you out of cover with Guardians, either hiding behind cover for 99% of the time, or them just being completely out of sight, no icon likely on the other side of Washington D.C. So yeah, that was my least favourite. It was punishing and it was not fun. Now, in that video I talked about just how good the Golden Gun event was and pitted it against the global events we got from the Division, asking if it was in fact better than even those global events, or if it was just the best that we've had in the Division 2, and was my mind kind of just running away with itself. Now, after reviewing what we had in the Division and comparing it to what we had in and comparing it to Golden Gun, I did say I think the Division global events as a whole were generally better. But that's not to take anything away from Golden Gun, because it has been by far the best global event since the launch of the Division 2. I even said that I'd encourage the devs to make this an option that we can toggle on and off indefinitely. And I knew they wouldn't, of course, but like I always say, if you don't ask, then you don't get. Now, I think my take on Golden Gun matched what the community also thought of it as well. If you go to the Division Reddit page right now and you just put in a global event, you will see plenty of posts saying how much people are enjoying this event, and the same on Twitter and on the Ubisoft forums. If the devs can reproduce global events in the future with a similar framework, i.e. relatively easy mechanics and huge buffs in power for taking part, then I have no doubt any future global events will also be great. As I said in my video on Christmas Eve, if they could follow a similar framework to the Division, then I'm confident that they could be really great in the future. So at this point, you're probably just sat there scratching your head thinking, well, what am I talking about when the title of this video says this has ruined everything? Because I've just talked about how good this global event was, and yet I've put in the title, it's ruined kind of everything. So the best way I can explain it is this. Imagine you're good at basketball and you really enjoy playing it. Now, by the way, guys, I actually used to play basketball a lot. I was actually really good at basketball. At one point I was offered a place on the England team. I'm only 5'7", by the way. That's not important, but I wanted to brag about it because I was good, and now I can barely get out of bed without groaning, to be honest. So that's beside the point. Imagine if you were really good and you loved basketball and you always wanted to be able to dunk, but you couldn't because you're too small and you've skipped leg day, so you don't have the hops required. Then one day you come onto the court and suddenly your legs, they turn into springboards, you become a human kangaroo and start dunking on everyone. Imagine that. That would just be awesome. You're hanging off the rim like you've had too many drinks and you fell asleep on the toilet. Like, that's the feeling that you're getting. So now you're having the best time of your life. It's pretty awesome. A week later, you come on the court, you break some ankles because you suddenly gained amazing handles as well. You drive to the basket with a smug look on your face as Yao Ming, there's a clone of Yao Ming stands there ready to take you out. You jump and you just get swatted off of the court and you're embarrassed and you have to leave. You've lost all your springs, you've lost your handles, and you're going to go somewhere. You're probably going to cry about it as well. And that's where you're at. Now, on reflection, after maybe a week of recovery, you're going to look back on that experience and you're going to talk about those sudden superpowers as an awesome time, but going back to normal, it's just not going to feel the same because you've been given something and then it's been taken away. Can you imagine if you were an actual superhero? Imagine if you were, I don't know, imagine if you were Thor and suddenly you had no powers and you were just this normal, you were born with no powers, you suddenly got all these powers and then they were taken away. Do you know how crappy that would feel? Well, that's kind of the same feeling that we're getting here. And that's kind of where my head is at right now. I know it's a bit crazy, but that's kind of how I feel. And guys, please don't take this as me saying I'd rather not have had it in the first place, because obviously this video I'm just really kind of having a laugh at you guys, trying to make some bit entertaining for you guys, but it is true. I've lost my urge to play the game now because I know that when I go back to playing, and I've tried, guys, I've tried to log on a few times. I go to a control point, which is by far the best activity. My favorite activity in the game is just roaming the open world and going to control points. I tried to do that for 10 minutes and it just feels normal, like, but not normal how it was. It feels like I've lost all my powers. And in a game like The Division, where the feeling of power is few and far between, having so much power and then it being taken away is probably the worst feeling that you could have. Of course, guys, this is a bit of a fun video, but do any of you guys feel the same way? Let me know how you feel about that in the comments down below. I've actually put this same question on my Twitter as a poll for the next 24 hours. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, then please do, at Epic Slayers, and go over there and leave your comments or just take part in the poll. That would be great. I easily had the most fun I've had since The Division 2 launched with Golden Gun. There's no doubt about that. For the last couple of years, we've all been talking about the feeling of being more powerful, and this certainly scratched that urge without a shadow of doubt. And whilst I think you can feel somewhat powerful right now in the game, with the way armor and health works, it often still feels like we are pretty weak in comparison to NPCs, because, you know, there are NPCs and rogues that just feel far superior in terms of technology, and it actually feels like we're probably the weakest NPC in the game. So when we have these events which allow us to be very powerful, it does feel very rewarding, but when that's taken away, it also feels very, very crappy. So when we finally have all of that stuff, it's really good, but at the moment I just kind of feel like pretty sad that it's gone away, to be honest. I'm sure I'm going to get over it shortly, guys. As I said, you know, I'm over 30 years old. I'm sure I'll get over it fine, and I'm sure I'll be playing again in a couple of weeks or a week or so. But I just wanted to kind of make this video, almost kind of just talk about something that I'm sure people feel the same way, have a bit of a laugh, be a bit more entertaining, because I do wonder how many people have felt the same way. As per the poll that I put on Twitter, and as per me making this video, it swings more to people saying no, it hasn't ruined their experience. You know, it's about 70-30, which, again, it makes sense, obviously, and part of this is a joke, right? I'm not actually going onto the game and being like, oh my god, I'm never going to play this game again because of how powerful I did feel during that period of time. That's not going to happen. But it does make me reflect on how powerful we can actually feel in this game. Having an incredible fire rate, having skills that do even more damage than they do now. Because, you know, that's how it felt. It felt like I could go into control points, I could clear them so quickly, I felt strong, and it was just the best feeling ever. And that's not to say I don't feel strong at the moment. If you're running a skill build like mine with DPS, you don't even have to come out of cover, all your skills do everything. It's pretty, you still feel pretty strong. But, I don't know, losing all of that power, it kind of just feels really bad. Now, I knew that was going to happen, guys. I didn't expect, I've got to be honest, I didn't expect Golden Gun to be this good, just based on what we've had previously. I didn't expect to feel that powerful. So, again, I didn't have that expectation of going something powerful and kind of preparing myself for it. But I did know this was going to happen. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. Until the next video, epic out.